a scientist.
Suffice it that the blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled within these walls. Limbs twisted and broken, eyes gouged from bloody sockets, flesh burned black.
Please. You await the dead. In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no escapes. What you have to realize is that we're all just a mouse that a cat has by the tail.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
Hi guys, welcome back. This is Jay Scott.
This is Trey Lackey.
And you're listening to World of the Unexplained. Tonight we've got Marshall Cupp from the Omen film, the new remake here, being released 06/06/06. What a date, huh?
That's just great marketing.
Marshall Cupp plays the American ambassador to Italy in the film, a character that was not in the original Omen movie, but he's here with us, and this is pre-recorded, so don't call in, don't call the 800 number, and we'll still be in the chat room tonight, but because we had Joshua Warren on earlier, obviously, but you can speak with us in chat, but without ado, well, here's Marshall. How's it going, Marshall?
Oh, pretty well. Hi, guys, and hello, everybody from Germany. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
That's a pleasure.
So tell us about your role as this American ambassador to Italy. How has this new character made its way into the Omen film?
well, actually, that's a good question. I think that because Liev and Julia are, of course, quite a bit younger than Gregory Peck and Lee Remick, they needed some way to make it a little bit more credible. So I'm in the film basically to be the ambassador, and he is my protege.
Okay. And
I don't know, and that's kind of the best way I can explain it.
Now, I'm trying to remember, Gregory Peck, he was an ambassador in the film as well, right? Is that I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've seen the film.
That's right.
And so I'm assuming that the character that you are mentoring, so to speak, would be an ambassador from America, or...
That's right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And so I'm the senior guy, you might say, in the film. And basically, I'm taking Robert Thorne under my wing, so to speak.
Okay.
And that's how it plays out. As you know, in our previous discussion, I can talk in generalities about the film, but my contract, I have to keep a lot under the cover, so to speak.
We don't want to give anything away.
No, of course not.
We want people to go out and see it.
Don't want to give too much away.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
We're going to be there to see it.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
I definitely am.
Now, what do you think?
I haven't seen the full movie, by the way. I'm waiting for the 6 also.
Okay.
Well,
it's going to be released in several countries at the same time, and the good news is the first release, it will not be dubbed, so it'll just be subtitled.
Wow.
Okay.
Now, what have you seen? You've seen the original Omen film, I'm assuming.
Oh yes, absolutely. I have it in my collection.
Do you think that this film is more frightening than the original Omen movie?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think it's not only because of course special effects have improved quite a bit in the last 20 or so years. I think also the cinematography and the way John Moore has directed the film, it's just much more frightening. Much more frightening.
Yeah, well, without giving too much away, you want to talk a little bit about those special effects?
Well, of course, so there's a lot of stunts in the movie, and there's a mixture, of course, between you have the actor, of course, in the role, and then you cut to the guy doing the stunts. That's typical, but then you have a lot of digitalization that's imposed over the character that really enhances the special effects in the movie. And, of course, with the music in the background and the cinematography, the way it was shot with some, I'd say, mysterious, you might say. It really makes it look mysterious. And those are the things they probably couldn't do 20 or 30 years ago.
Now, you'd mentioned to me in a previous conversation that you had to go through a lot of hours with makeup. Can you elaborate any on that? Or?
Yes, of course. My character, as most characters in the movie, eventually meet their demise, without giving too much away.
Imagine that,
yeah,
Omen.
But I was quite. What's the word I want? I was a little surprised about the amount of makeup they were using in some of the scenes, particularly the scarier parts of the movie. There's really quite an application involved in putting on makeup. I mean, probably 2 to 3 hours, especially if you're using masks or if you're using special latex and things. It has to be glued on. It has to be put on in many, many different layers. Mm-hmm. And of course, after it's on, it has to be taken off in many, many different layers as well. So fortunately, we're lucky to have Brian Wade doing the makeup. He did the makeup for the Terminator. He did the makeup for I believe Mama's House, Plain Dead. He's done a lot of horror film makeup, and he is excellent. He's done a lot for X-Files as well, and he's an absolute expert.
Okay. Well, I wonder if all that makeup kept you warm when working in the really cold conditions.
It definitely did.
Yeah.
The funny thing about it, the movie was shot, it's supposed to be in the summer, and we're all supposed to be sweating, and we can't stand the heat. In reality, it's close to 0 Celsius, and it's snowing. Wow. That took a real bout of acting from everybody.
Yeah. Can you tell us where different places this film was shot then?
Sure. Well, most of the film, at least a good portion of the film, was shot in the Czech Republic. As many of your listeners may know, the Czech Republic was not bombed during World War II. So basically, a lot of the original castles and buildings are still standing that go back 700 years or more. And so it really created a great effect for the movie. And some of it was shot in the city of Prague. Mm-hmm. And some of it was shot outside of Prague in a smaller town called Hradec Králové. Huh. And in order to make the film look authentic, like it was being shot in Italy, as an example, many of the towns were just completely redone over with Italian signs and street signs and so on and so forth.
Wow. And so I guess the Czech people were pretty excited to be involved in this project in a way.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in one of the towns we shot in. I mean, we were probably the biggest thing that ever happened in that town in the history of the town. Yeah. And there was a lot of cooperation from the locals. That's for sure.
How did the Vatican feel about this film?
Actually, I haven't heard a single comment except I heard about in Croatia. The Catholic Church in Croatia did not want us to do some filming there. There was some problems. So we ended up doing it in Italy.
Wow.
But generally speaking, I haven't heard a lot of objections from the Catholic Church other than in Croatia.
Okay. That seems kind of...
Because let's face it, I mean, this is a time in the world right now. There's a lot of horrible things going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think the church may be busy dealing with some of those things.
Yeah.
This is not, I consider, this is not completely true, but it's the takeoff on Revelations in the Bible. And a lot of this is a reenactment of what is in Revelations.
Yeah. Certainly. So you're a big fan of all these films then, and I know that you're getting into the filmmaking industry a bit later in life. Tell us what you did before making movies.
Well, that's interesting. I started off in my career in the very beginning, actually, in radio and television production. I'd studied that in the Midwest and was in radio in my 20s. And I had a radio show in the San Francisco Bay Area as well. Wow. And I basically kind of moved out of that and got into the high-tech business.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so for the last, I would say, 20-some years plus, I've been working in the high-tech industry, both as corporate spokesman, and also I've written several articles for magazines, and basically done a lot of conceptual work. And, of course, always keeping one foot in the acting business, but never giving up my day job, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, just like us. Any words of wisdom you would pass on to, fledgling radio broadcasters, not naming any names?
Without naming any name. Don't give up. It's never over till it's over.
No.
And I the one nice thing about, of course, I moved to the Czech Republic in 1991 with a major telecoms company. We were basically promoting the mobile networks, and of course, after the wall came down, there was a lot of things to do in the former Eastern Bloc countries.
Oh, certainly.
And unbeknownst to me at the time, Prague was one of the movie capitals of Europe in the 20s and 30s as far as producing films, which was good for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Prague, I hear, is a very beautiful city, and it's very cinematic. I haven't been there. Scott and I almost made it to Prague when we went to Germany, but not quite. I kind of regret not going. But
it was all the beer in Germany.
Yeah, but it's cheaper in Prague,
Oh man. Okay, well,
5 to 1.
Oh my gosh.
Next time.
Well,
next time, brother.
Straight to Prague.
Yeah. So what other films have you starred in? I know that the movie database lists you in one other film. It was a comedy movie, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, not everything is in there. I actually got my start back in the film business. I'd done some theatrical stuff in Prague, some English theater, and a friend of mine who was Sean Connery's double, actually, in the movie, kept talking to me, and so I got in a Czech film, which is called Kaluchka. I don't think it was ever released in the Western countries. And basically, it was a film about the Czech Republic getting into the European Union, and a story about this really attractive woman in this small town, and how the guys would just keep watching her walk to work every day at 7 o'clock, and so on. And I played the grandfather of the police chief and basically the mayor of the town. And it was a comedy slash, you might say, there was some nudity in it.
All right.
In a polite way.
Fantastic.
We're all about nudity. Sean Connery's double.
I've done some other films as well. The one that's on the website was called Mosny Philip, which means Smart Philip in English, and it was a takeoff on Philip Marlowe, which is kind of an American detective story, and a friend of mine is the person that translated it from English to Czech, and basically it was a comedy, or you might say a put on about being a detective in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Filmed in Prague.
Oh, well,
of course, because
it's cheaper there.
Yeah, of course,
it's cheaper there. Right?
And so is the beer.
So is the beer.
You said Sean Connery.
But it's interesting. Like you said, I kind of got in the film business about 6 years ago, kind of late in my life, but I'm really enjoying it, and hoping that after doing the Omen that I'm going to have some opportunity to do some additional things.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Well, you said Sean Connery's double was your friend. Did he get you into the Omen film?
No, he didn't. Actually, I have a very good agent in Prague.
Okay.
And she's the one that got me into the Omen film.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Now, you had told me earlier that today is you and your wife's anniversary.
That's right.
And we want to give you a World of the Unexplained congratulations on
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. And she just ran up the street here and changed her reservation, so I have a lot more time. Thank you very much. We're very happy.
Great. So now we're part of the problem here with this anniversary.
Exactly.
This makes us feel wonderful. But
yeah, well, I'll really lay the guilt trip on you later.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to that, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, so tell us, tell us about how was working on this film different from working on the other films that you've been in?
Well, first of all, I will say this: I love the Czech actors and the way they work in it. But I'll tell you, this film was really professional. The Czechs tend to not take things too seriously, and it's everyone has a good time making the film, and we get through it. But this film was very professionally done and very well organized, and it was super to work with most people who's on the film, including John Moore. I know John's gotten a lot of bad press and so on, but I think the guy's outstanding as a director.
Oh. Well, what was it like working with Mia Farrow and some of the other actors on the set?
Well, I'll tell you, I had just a very brief hello and how are you with Mia, and so I didn't get a chance to know her very well. Her son happened to be with her, and I got to chat with him for about 20 minutes. Oh. Very interesting young man. I thought Liev and Julia were super. Liev tends to like to give a lot of comments and ideas in during the filming, which are really creative and are very good. And I think John took a lot of his ideas when we were doing the filming as well. And Julia, I was a little surprised. She's quite shy, actually. She's quite shy. A lot different than I expected. But both very professional, and I really enjoyed working with them.
Good. And John Moore, how was he?
Well, John is, he knows what he wants, and when you give it to him, he's very elated, let me put it that way.
Oh, okay.
And he is very patient. I know that we had to do some scenes without, in the film industry, not everything is what it appears. I mean, for instance, just to give you an example, recently in a Jack Nicholson film, I was listening to some of the outtakes on it. You think he's in the same room with the person he's talking with, when in reality that person isn't really there. So a lot of times, because of people's schedules, when you're doing a scene, sometimes your dialogue, although it looks when they put the film together like you're in the same room talking to that person isn't really there.
A world of suspended reality, so to speak.
Exactly. So I had to do a couple of inserts. They called inserts when they decide to insert more dialogue into a particular scene. They call it an insert. So I had to do several inserts when there wasn't anybody there, and I'm just looking at John Moore and pretending he's somebody else.
The magic of Hollywood.
yeah, the magic of Hollywood.
Now this is a major motion picture, though. I mean, it's amazing, to look at. And I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about the people involved in it, but you would expect somebody like a Bruce Willis or a big name like a Tom Hanks or a Tom Cruise or somebody, in this film, and you really don't have. You have a lot of just really good actors, but you don't have any. You don't see any really big names. The only one that really popped out at me was Mia Farrow.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
It was. I mean,
that is amazing, but in a way, I think it's great because the movie then is really going to have to carry itself.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. You can't depend on people going to see it to see a certain person or to drive the box office with this. But this is good too because it brings, in my opinion anyway, and Trent probably agrees with me, it brings these these other talents out and it puts them in a spotlight. Yeah. And I mean, who knows where your career is going to be in the next 10 years because of this film?
I mean, frankly, I was quite surprised, very happy, obviously.
Oh yeah,
because this is what I really enjoy doing, and. I think that everyone in the film that I worked with or observed working with, everyone seemed to really click, and you don't see that too often.
Well, you don't have the egos either.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of personalities sometimes that clash, but obviously not here though.
What do you guys think of Damien? I know you've seen several of the previews. Isn't he a cute kid?
He's creepy,
He's
man.
a cute
oh
little
my
boy.
God, he's creepy as hell.
Right?
I saw the very first trailer. Do you remember that where he's in a swing going back?
Yeah.
Oh, that was creepy.
Yeah, they certainly.
Especially the dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We had 3 dogs.
Oh.
We had a real nice dog, and then we had a real mean one. And they all looked the same. And then we had a fake one.
A fake one?
A fake dog.
Yeah, that we basically used when we were doing like a dog double, you might say.
Okay.
But there's one scene in the movie that with Mia and the dog is just really vicious. I was backstage watching it. That happened to be done in the studio, and then I turned around, I saw this other dog, and I said, "Gee, that dog looks awfully friendly." And then I put two and two together. It's a different dog.
Oh yeah. Once again,
you don't want to get that mixed up.
Several dogs were dog actors.
No animal was harmed during the making of this.
Yes, of course not.
I wonder how much they got paid. I mean, they paid
that's a
dog
good question.
biscuits.
I mean, do they just get paid in dog food, or does the owner get some money? That's a good
I think
question.
the owner probably gets something. Yeah,
I imagine so.
Yeah.
But
we had a great little kid there too, who was Damien's double, and he was a little Czech boy. He was cute too. But it's the music. If you see that scene, the music and the way you hear that dog kind of panting, and that swing is just creaking back and forth. But then that one hit on that note and that music just as he turns his head, I mean, that is what really makes it scary.
Yeah, just brings the sinister aspect of the film straight to the audience. Yeah. But
let me ask you about some of the scenes in here, the special effects. The scene, there's one scene in the original Omen film, and I noticed because we've posted a still from the current film you're in, the 06 release. Where the character played by Mia is actually falling off the staircase.
Yes.
How was that done, or can you tell us?
Well, in the first movie, are you talking about Lee Remick when she hits the floor?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That first movie, of course, she wasn't falling at all. She was basically vertical. And basically twisting and running towards the wall, and they shot it like she was falling down.
Oh wow!
Okay. When it was really not shot that way at all.
Okay, I'll have to look back at that. Yeah. Was it done the same way in this film, or?
Honestly, I don't really know on that one.
Okay,
I believe that was shot over in Berendorf, and I wasn't there that day.
Okay.
Okay. Well.
But I think. I'm guessing now. Some of that might have been done with blue screen or something like that. They have a way. I mean, in one of my scenes in the car, which you'll see in the movie, you see a lot of stuff going on, and the reality of it is that when it was shot, that there really wasn't anything there. There was just like a green screen behind me, and I'm in the car,
and
they're filming different aspects of the scene. And then later on, they're adding all the background and all the stuff in digitally.
Okay. Okay. Well.
So it's hard to tell how that was done. I think there was somebody on the film shooting a documentary about how this film was made. And I think that's going to be released in June, but I'm not really sure. That's probably going to be released before the DVD version of the movie.
Huh.
Okay, I don't know if I really can talk about this or not, but you'll let me know.
Yeah.
Were you there during the hanging scene, or not, or is that?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't there at the hanging scene.
Okay.
You have to understand when they're shooting a movie that's this complicated, they really minimize the amount of people that need to be on the set.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because. I had, even myself, I'd have to get permission 2 days in advance to watch a particular scene.
Huh.
I happened to see several of the scenes that Mia Farrow was in because I really enjoy watching her work. But because of the secrecy of the movie and the fact that they really have to limit the amount of people on the set, even the other actors weren't allowed to really be there and observe.
Oh, okay. I just found that scene during the trailer that we were watching especially disturbing. We have a still from it on the website, and it was just very creepy.
Do you have a personal website for your fans that they can go to that you'd like to tell us about? Or?
Actually, it's in the process. I'm doing some bio write-up, and there is actually a site that we're working on right now, and that should probably be up in a couple of weeks.
Do you have the domain name for us yet, or?
I'll send it to you. How's that?
Okay, great. We'll put it up on our website then, because we want people to be able to, visit you and, maybe email you, leave comments in your guest book, whatever, saying it's great.
Oh, that would be great,
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I'll definitely let you know on that.
Fantastic.
Okay, great.
Now, I guess, well, I don't know. I imagine this happens to in a lot of big blockbuster films, but you speak of the secrecy and things you can't talk about. Was there ever a time when you were filming that you had, I don't know, people trying to crash the party, so to speak, trying to get in there and see what was going on when they really didn't need to be there? Or was it pretty...
on a couple occasions, yes. It was mainly the local people.
Oh, okay.
And quite honestly, they were handled quite gently by the people, the security people. In fact, I know on one day we invited everyone to come to the kitchen because we have everything's catered and we have tents there and everything, and we invite a lot of the community in there and give them a chance to talk. But there wasn't in Prague. There was a little bit more of that than there was in some of the smaller towns. Obviously, because Prague is a very cosmopolitan city, and you have a lot of people visiting Prague.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I want to share with you might be interesting. In one of the scenes I did, I mean, there's some explosions and some things going on, and I'll tell you. The special effects were so real that it really shocked me.
Wow.
A lot of it wasn't acting afraid. I was afraid.
It was like, oh my gosh, they're doing this?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, did I sign that paper saying they weren't liable?
Exactly.
Whoops.
Well, share with us some of these explosions. I'm assuming they use C4 or some kind of explosive, controlled explosions.
Yes.
Yeah. And so they were really magnificent then.
Yeah, actually, I am. And if you go to the website, the new one, there's one little square. I don't know if you've seen the new one or not.
I went there earlier today. Yes.
Yeah, there's one little square with somebody kind of on flames.
Yeah. That's you.
Well, those are my cufflinks.
Oh. Now, did you do your own stunts for this, or did they have some?
No, well, not the real dangerous stuff.
Okay.
But some of the stuff, yeah, I did it.
Oh, okay.
Not anything to do with fire.
Okay. That's good.
No, I wouldn't do that.
I can totally understand that.
Now, it always amazes me, in this other movie I told you about, Kaluchka, here I was the oldest guy in the film, and I'm the guy that had to run up the hill for 500 meters. I said, listen, I'm the oldest guy here. Why am I running up the hill 500 meters?
Where's my double?
Yeah, where's my double?
Oh, my God. And hope you get it right on the first shot, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, I pride myself. I'm a 1-2 take guy. I mean, I really try to get in a couple takes. I mean, no sense doing it over again, right?
Oh,
exactly.
Go ahead.
No, I was just.
As I said, where did you go? Did you have any formal training as an actor or anything like that?
Actually, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I studied acting in Berkeley, and also I had some private acting lessons back in the 80s, and also I did a lot of training in when I was doing corporate spokesman work and so on. We had to do a lot of. It's almost like the film. You're getting ready for an interview or a press release, and you're basically almost storyboarding everything you're going to do. So in reality, it's a lot like acting.
Well,
films.
I imagine so.
We're gonna have to let our listeners know once again the 800 number tonight is not working, nor is the local line. Well, it is, but we're not going to answer it. So
you'll get a very angry guy somewhere, and
No, we're still here, but we've got to run this. But what we want to let everyone know is that they can check out the website at www.theomenmovie.com. And that's international, so you can click your choice of languages there. I believe the English site is heedtheomen.com. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, that's right. And I'll tell you that there's the international English trailer, I think, is the best one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well definitely check that out. You can see the trailers on that site. But right now we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Marshall Cupp
here on World of the Unexplained. See you in a bit. And we're back on World of the Unexplained with Marshall Cupp, featured in the new Omen movie.
That's right.
Marshall is still there with us?
Okay, yeah.
Nice to be back.
060606.
Yeah.
060606. By
listen-
the way, if I add up my birth date, it comes out to be 66.
Ooh.
Really?
That's a woo woo woo.
Well, that's kind of
No,
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. Actually, our local Kernersville number has 3 6s at the end of it as well.
That's great. I never noticed that before. Thank
Really?
you. Yeah.
I've noticed. I mean, for a long time, Scott. It's like 336-996-1596.
Yeah, that's our studio. One of our studio line.
Once again, listeners, this is a pre-record show, so don't bother calling. But please listen.
We're not
in.
gonna answer.
We will be in the chat room. So
Yeah.
I'm interested in what everybody thinks about this concept of a single devil child. I mean, who's to say the devil would only have one child? Maybe he'd have 10 children, or maybe he'd have a girl.
that's true.
Well, you
Seem
know,
to be more productive that way.
It's
somehow.
Yeah, it would be.
loosely based on on the Book of Revelation. Can I ask you about your religious beliefs or your personal religious beliefs, or is that going too far?
Well, no, you can.
Okay. Well, will you tell me?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Well, I have my belief systems. I mean, I don't believe in organized religions, but I believe in. I guess I'm a Christian, but not in the sense of the word that particularly that I'm not a born-againer Christian, but I believe in, and basically there's a lot of positive messages, you might say, that the Bible has, the New Testament has to offer. But I'm not too big a fan of organized religion, let me put it that way.
Okay.
I guess the better question is, do you believe that the stuff that you're doing in the movie, do you think this is, based on Revelation, do you believe that this is actually something that's going to happen in the future?
Well, that's a very interesting point. The problem I have is I believe there's a lot of people out there that look at Revelations and want to make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me. Because I think at the time it was written, it was talking about a time which was really a time 2,000 years ago or 1,500 years ago. It wasn't talking about the future like now. And a lot of it was written as kind of like a scare tactic, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I believe. I mean, if you look at the old churches, they have these horrible-looking gargoyles on them and things like that to scare away the evil spirits and so on. And I think that people can misinterpret a lot of this. I don't think there's a single, quote, devil out there. I think there's a lot of evil, and from a lot of different sources.
And they all emanate from a child named Damien. No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
Or multiple
Well,
children.
now I hope I don't start getting hate mail. But
let's go back. Let's go backwards here and talk about the first film and how it's different from this new film. I know you can't give away any plot details. I know you can't tell us what happens, but can you give us a little insight on the Hollywood license used to change this film and make it different from the original movie?
Well, I'll try to answer that. Of course, you have to understand, back when the original film was made, it wasn't billed as a horror film. It was billed as a thriller.
Okay.
And it was never really considered a horror film. And I think some of the horror shots in the movie, if for lack of a better term, were scary, very scary at the time. I think this time around, there's a lot of other nuances that were added to the film that make it more of a horror film. And particularly, I like, there's horror all around us every day. I mean, particularly now, and I don't have to tell anybody that. I mean, just watch the news. And I think the way that it's tied into this movie, I think it could have a different effect, a more positive effect in a way, to bring it to people's attention that there are a lot of horrible things going on in the world. I don't think the original intent on the first movie was that. I think the nuances in this version of the Omen bring a lot of that into the movie, or vice versa.
Oh yeah, certainly. Well, what do you know much about what happened about the sort of mysterious or creepy things that happened in the first film
Yeah, they've got a DVD out that I haven't seen. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a thing they didn't include with the box set, which I have, but it says the Omen behind the scenes. What
Yeah,
really
I have that.
Yeah.
Okay,
okay.
What's
So
on it?
then-
Because I haven't seen it and I've been dying to know.
Well,
Yeah,
I think there was a plane crash. There was a car crash on there. There, I don't recall everything off the top of my head because when I was watching that part, I was kind of dozing off, to be honest.
Oh, great.
But there was a lot of terrible things that happened. I do know that.
Yeah.
And here's the money question that you want to ask it, Trent. Did anything strange or weird or supernatural happen on this filming of this film?
Well, the main thing, the only thing I can think of is the entire day shooting of one day shooting in Prague just kind of disappeared off the film, and they had to go reshoot it over again.
An entire day? How much film is that?
A lot. 20,000 feet.
How many? I'm sorry.
A lot.
Okay.
I don't know exactly. I was speaking to one of the technical guys on the set, and he told me that, and so they had to go back and reshoot everything.
So the film, the physical film itself was gone, basically.
Yeah,
when they were...
That's right. That's right. It generally doesn't happen.
What were they filming something really strange that day, or was it just a normal day of filming?
I think just a norm. Well, I'm trying to remember on that day. It may have been the scene of the birthday party, but don't quote me.
Okay.
Because I wasn't allowed to I wasn't near the set that day.
Okay.
Let me put it that way.
Fair enough.
But it's everything. That was partly my fear. Now, it was interesting. When I took this part, I said to myself, should I take this part? All these things going through my mind, My wife says, what is this? Omen 666, And I kind of got over it, after a couple of days, and then because I remember a lot of things that happened to the original movie,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible things that happened to people. So I was a little bit apprehensive, especially playing in this particular role in these scenes. But then kind of after I got into it and I saw everything was really nice. I mean, people were nice. I mean, everything seemed to go pretty well. I kind of got over that fear. But initially that was a big fear with not only me but several of the other actors as well.
So,
I'm happy nothing did happen.
Well, that's true. Yes, of course.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're just wondering if anything creepy, like something levitates across the room, or you know
comparisons of between the two films.
Yeah, somebody says "get out," something like that. So we were talking earlier, and you said that you did about 12 days of filming, which is probably going to equate to about 15 to 20 minutes in the actual film itself. Yeah. Is there a lot of dialogue in there, or is it mainly a lot of action sequences?
Well, there's a lot of action. There is some dialogue. Obviously, I have a scene with the two stars in the movie, and there is some dialogue there, and of course, setting the things in motion of what's going to happen in the future. But really, there's probably more action than dialogue.
Okay.
Oh.
There's more action than dialogue.
What about go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you about the possibility for sequels with this film.
Oh, I think this film has big possibilities for sequels, and I hope that they do some sequels with the film. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but I think it has a lot of possibilities, and from my own personal standpoint, it would be interesting to explore some ideas that he might have a sister or a brother.
Yeah,
or something like that.
That would be
I'm just throwing out ideas out there to the screenwriters right now.
There we go.
Yeah, certainly.
So, I mean, that's just amazing, though. I mean, you've done relatively, smaller films, but then to get a call one day and be like, hey, we've got this Omen film. It's a blockbuster. Fox is making it. You want to come down and try out? I mean,
it is really shocking, actually, when I think about it. I also tried out for a part in the new James Bond film, which also was filming in Prague. I didn't get that mainly because I didn't have a British accent. But no, I had to kind of pinch myself twice. I said, "What?" I said, that's my agent's name. I said, what, Maya? I got the part. Yeah, at my stage in the game,
So, like I said, I mean, we'll be seeing you probably later on, on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno or something like that. It'll be
well, that would be nice.
Yeah,
I'd like to do some comedies again.
Okay.
Yeah, I
but
guess.
Actually, the horror thing, I think, is very interesting. I have a small grandson. He lives in Dallas. Actually, I have two now. He's 4, and after last time I saw him, I started making faces at him, and now every time I talk to him on Skype, he's making these weird faces, And, of course, I say to myself, well, there's my talent, making these terrible faces.
Now, are you a horror fan enthusiast? I mean, you told me you'd had all these in your collection, so I'm...
Well, I do. I mean, it depends how you define horror films. I mean, I like The Shining. I mean, I think that's a great film.
Mm-hmm.
I watch it a lot, actually.
What about The Exorcist? Are you a big fan of that?
And yes, I don't watch that as much.
Okay.
I have that film as well. When that first came out, that was really frightening.
Oh yeah, it was awful. I was like, I don't remember how old I was when I saw it, but I remember I was a kid and my folks were watching it and told me not to be downstairs because it would just come out of videotape or whatever, in the 80s, and of course I watched it anyway. And good God, man, I wish I hadn't.
Yeah, that was smart.
Well, I got to tell you a story. Halloween I thought was also very scary, and my younger daughter Karen, she was 10 at the time, and she watched somehow. We were out. The babysitter had the film, and she watched it on TV. I mean, she literally would crawl into bed with us for 6 months after that film.
Yeah, Michael Myers, I think, out of the whole killer guys, I think he's way creepier than Jason Voorhees.
Yeah,
he's big.
Freddy. Yeah, he's big in The Mask.
Yeah,
something about The Mask, I think.
Well, The Mask is actually based on we talked about this the other week in the game show we played. The Mask is actually based on a cast of William Shatner's face. No kidding. Yeah, no kidding. They were on the cheap because they made that movie very, very low budget.
Yeah.
And they took The Mask and I think they spray painted it and added some hair and did some other stuff with it. But it's based on William Shatner's face.
William Shatner's face.
So William Shatner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, William
Shatner
Shatner
is the face of evil.
Is the face of evil. Yeah, and Michael Myers.
But it's all you always find. I always find that at least in the Friday the 13th and the Nightmares and Halloween, it's always the first one that's always the best, and the rest just sort of degenerate into.
Generally, that's true. Generally, that's true.
But
I mean, I think the Alien, the first version of the Alien, was fantastic.
Yeah, that was an excellent film. It was just one of them. That's all. It was a whole film. It was just one of the little critters running around, and that was pretty good too back in the day too. How they
that was. Whatever happens to Sigourney Weaver? I haven't seen her lately.
I don't know.
I haven't either.
It's been a long time since she's been in a film.
Yeah, no, she's enjoying her money and her lifestyle, probably.
Probably.
Yeah, I would if I was her.
Oh yeah.
So what's new? What's next? What's on the plate for you coming up? Do you have anything any films you're working on currently?
Well, I have two friends of mine that happen to be writing screenplays.
Oh, okay.
And they're actually both live in Prague.
Oh.
And Tony is a friend of mine. He's working on a thriller right now, and he's gotten a lot of action from Hollywood on this. So I'm waiting to see what happens to that. I think he saved a part in there for me.
Oh, good.
And actually, it's interesting. When you're living in Europe, you don't have the exposure to all the films that are coming out that you do in the States. However, when they do shoot a major blockbuster film in Europe, since you're here and you're an American like myself, you get a lot more opportunities to get a chance to get a role in the movie than you would if you were in the States.
Huh, that makes a lot of sense.
I guess that does. That's a point I never thought about.
And everyone wants to live in Europe, really. I mean,
secretly we all do. Kudos to you.
Went back.
So 91, you've been there for a while then.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I came just after the wall came down, and it was quite interesting. I mean, particularly, I came to the south of France originally. One of my daughters was a student there, and I ended up in Prague actually because of her. And it was like Berkeley in the 60s back in those days. Yeah. And there wasn't a place to eat, But that's kind of when I discovered the film industry there. And, of course, at that time I didn't speak too much Czech, but I had a couple of trips over to Berendorf Studios and decided, this place has possibilities.
Well, I'm sure you're better at Czech now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you meet your wife when you came over? Then is she?
Yes, I did actually. I did. She made my glasses. She was an optician, and I lost my contacts, and that's how I met her.
Oh, that's strange. Did you ever have any run-ins with like some? I know Prague and the Czech Republic are not the center of the old Soviet Empire, but did you ever run into some old hardline old dudes that gave you dirty looks and say nasty things to you?
Well,
I'm just
actually
curious.
not per se, although I found a lot of people viewed America as America of the 50s. They didn't know it changed.
Yeah.
Some of us still didn't.
That's true. Those
But interesting enough, I ran into a lot of what I call political refugees that came over there from the States, and a lot of different people that, for one reason or other, first thing I'd say, are you in the witness protection program? but interesting things going on in those days, because it was before that what they call the COCOM restrictions, or which were certain restrictions for technology, were lifted. And so there was a lot of people wondering, what are you doing here? So I think there was probably a lot of, quote, CIA or whatever there figuring out, well, why are you here, you know? It was kind of a strange time there in 91, 92, 93 period.
Yeah, I imagine so.
We were in high school then.
Yeah. I was in my second childhood.
What was the? How does your country now feel about the United States?
Well, you know, what's very interesting here, and I'll speak both for Czech Republic and Germany, both because I'm living in Germany now. They don't equate Americans as persons with the government.
Uh-huh.
They may have opinion about the government, but you as an individual, they don't equate you as, well, you're an American.
Oh, okay.
They've kind of separate that out.
That's good.
Yeah, that is a little heartening. That's a good thing to know.
Even though
that is. I wouldn't worry about that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's got their problems.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
I think in the film industry in Czech, I mean, Berendorf now is building, really adding a lot more studios there and updating their whole facility. I think most of the American producers and directors now are really have a very high opinion about the Czech Republic for making films.
That's true. Actually, I just saw a film. I know it's not the Czech Republic; it's further east, but it was here in Greensboro, and it was what was it called? Night Watch or something like that. And it was a really good film, and it was very high budget, very high quality. But it was made in Moscow in the Ukraine, and it was, I guess, the whole Eastern European sphere is just a boomtown for movie making. Just in my personal opinion, I guess.
No, it is. It is. Partly because the studios are here and because they really do have a lot of qualified people here. Yeah. I know I made some little comment earlier in the show, but in reality they have a lot of very qualified people here. And many Americans prefer to work here because they like living here.
Oh, certainly.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't... I wouldn't mind myself actually living in a nice little European town. But
where are you at now? North Carolina?
Yeah, we're in a small town called Kernersville.
It's in the triad between Winston-Salem, Greensboro, and High Point, roughly
northwestern. North Carolina. Yeah, it's
northwestern North
We're
Carolina.
about an hour and a half from Raleigh.
Yeah, an hour or so from Charlotte. So
yeah. So we're just here out in the country.
Yeah.
Just country folks.
That's it.
Just old simple country folk.
Yep, just old redneck country boys.
Well, how do your neighbors feel about you having this show?
They don't know about it.
I don't even think they know. I mean, they're going to know Sunday. Yeah, we just finished an interview with the Winston-Salem Journal about our radio show, but the local Kernersville paper actually refused to carry the story. So, yeah,
the Winston-Salem paper is a lot bigger and it hits a lot more people, and we're going to be in Sunday's paper, so it's going to be huge. Yeah. We're going to have so much local. Right now, I think most of our listener base comes from California and out west. and in different parts of the world, the UK. We get a lot of hits from. Actually, we've got some hits from the Czech Republic, and we've got some hits from
Russia,
Japan, Russia. I mean, we get hits from everywhere. Oh yeah, New Zealand, Australia. So, now that we just got picked up by Ghost Radio in Australia, we're gonna hopefully get a lot of Australian fans on board too.
So. I mean, to answer your question, we don't know what our what our town folk think of us just yet.
We get some local listeners, but I think mainly it's international and out west.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But which is good for you, great for you. You've got that California connection. We're sliding back in there, and we also want to welcome our brand new affiliate that we just got jumped on with. It's 99.1 FM in Arizona, and these guys are listening to this right now. This is pre-recorded, by the way. So
no calls, please.
Don't call in. Sure, tell them that.
Don't call. Yeah. But you can join us in chat at omnisoundradio1.net. Just click on the chat line or go to worldoftheunexplained.com and click on the chat button and come right in. And we're still going to be here while this is running, and we'll be able to chat back and forth with you. So let's get back to the Omen movie, though. Shall we?
Sure. Listen, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I mean, what's it like now in the States? Is Omen getting much play on television?
No.
No? Really?
No, nothing. I haven't seen. Have you seen anything?
Well, it's kind of weird though. I actually went around looking for the Omen movies, and a good number of them had been checked out.
Oh yeah, they're out in the people know about it, but it's not.
So, at the movie theaters, I think people, the fans of the first Omen movie, and maybe they're renting the Omen movies, and it's actually kind of difficult around here to pick up a copy. So,
well, they know what's coming, but you don't see. I haven't seen a real big media blitz. I'm thinking any time now because it's so close.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't watch a lot of TV either. So.
I don't either. So
yeah, I don't either. I only have my miniature theater screen here, and I don't have cable, and I just watch films I like.
Yeah.
Might as well.
I think a lot of people are like that now.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount of stuff going on TV anyway, in my opinion.
Now I've noticed the website, which I was really kind of shocked about, is as close to being out as this film is. That there's a lot of links that are still like coming soon. The cast is one of those, and some of the other stuff, the FAQ that's like that, and there's a couple other links that are like coming soon. And I'm like, come on, guys, it's coming soon. Your movie's getting ready to release coming soon. Yeah,
really.
I mean, I was kind of surprised, especially. Do you know what the budget for this film was?
I don't know offhand. I know it was. I don't even want to hazard a guess, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Well, we have a feeling it's in the multiple millions.
It is in the multiple millions. I will say that.
And I mean,
I do know as late as the end of March, they were still putting together a lot of stuff in this over here in the UK, in the studio. So I mean, it's really hot off the press, especially some of the additional music and so on. So it's really a close call hitting that sixth state. I'll tell you.
Well,
that's my personal opinion.
They did the first film like that, 06, 76, didn't they?
I think so, right?
I believe that.
Well, yeah. You'd have to really kind of, drop that 7.
Yeah, and this is the perfect date for the release of this film.
But there's a lot of copycats out there now.
Oh, is that so? Oh.
With the 666.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
But The Omen that's the movie for it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Have you heard anything in your part of the world? I mean, what do people think about this the 666 and the devil and the Antichrist and the Revelations? I mean,
we're in the Bible Belt.
Yeah, we are in the Bible Belt.
There.
So we, there, you can pretty much drive about 5 miles in any direction, and you'll see churches with these sort of apocalyptic messages. I mean, it's a huge deal. I mean, it's a very Christian and very religious sort of region of the world. So I would a lot of Baptists, a lot of fundamentalists. So yes, the devil was big business in
rural North Carolina.
Yeah. So
the devil is big business in North Carolina.
Yeah,
that's a tagline for something.
Yeah, that's true.
That's good for our new T-shirt. The devil is big business in rural North Carolina. Yeah. Oh my God, that's great. Yeah.
All right, I got to write that down real quick before I forget it.
Don't forget it.
Well, we've already got one slogan. It's Kernersville, North Carolina, a small town where we talk about big things.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I came up with that one too.
Yeah, you came up with both of
these things just sort of.
You're the tagline king.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But let's go back to talking about the film some more.
Sure.
What can you tell us? I mean, what surprised you most about the making of this movie?
Well, I guess what surprised me the most is the detail. I mean, there's a really big attention to detail. I mean, just very small detail, like the hinge on a door. I mean, 40 shots to take a picture of a hinge falling down on a door.
Wow.
A lot of detail. And also the fact that most of the scenes were shot with a lot of fog. What that means is that it really clarifies the scene and kind of gives it a real kind of eerie feeling to it. So when you're shooting, first of all, they're fogging up the whole place, and then you're doing your scene, and you don't notice it in the film, but it really leaves that scene with a real different sense.
Like an air of mystery and
Exactly.
apprehension. You can't really your visibility is limited. So
one of the questions I had was, you talked about filming in a place that wasn't really Italy, I think, and you said you replaced a lot of signs. I bet the detail there has to be so scrutinized because the one little thing like a piece of paper over here in the corner or a lamp that was manufactured at a certain time in a certain way. I mean, all these little details that you have to look at to make sure that this fits what this is Italy. You've got to convince people this isn't wherever the heck we're shooting at.
No, that's absolutely true. I mean, in this one town we shot in, going through and changing all the signs and putting Italian names of businesses up there. I mean, all the little nuances. I mean, when you actually see the film, you couldn't tell the difference between Rome and what was shot in the film. And then there's some scenes in Jerusalem that were shot actually in a part of Italy that you would never know it. I mean, that's what's interesting about cinematography. I mean, the cinematographer really makes the film.
And they never get credit.
By the way he shoots it, by the way he splices the different frames together. For example, I just saw, believe it or not, a bunch of amateur film editors out of New York took the preview of The Shining and made it into a film about a foster father. Just by the way how they recut the film. And so that's why I think this is really going to be a good film. I mean, the cinematographer in the film and the way it was cut is really going to make it because it's the timing. Timing is everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
okay, are you there, Marshall?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we heard a clicking noise. And we weren't sure.
Clicking.
It's not the government.
I don't hear it on this end.
It's
not the government this time. We're not talking about
not the government.
some conspiratorial person this time. So we're okay. But okay, well, what about the music? I mean, what you talked a lot about the music, and we all know music makes a film, and especially good creepy music in a horror film.
That's right. Well, they added it. They have some of the stuff from Jerry Goldsmith that was in the original film, but then also Marco Beltrami, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly.
He'll forgive you.
He's Italian, and he also added some additional music to the film, and he was actually a understudy of Jerry Goldsmith.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of bridging the generations there.
That's right. I mean, he's not trying to copy him. But basically, he was a big influence, and he was closely trained by him.
Okay. Wow. Well, we're gonna have to go to another break here.
Yeah, sure.
And we'll be right back on World of the Unexplained with Marshall Cupp, the actor from the new movie, 20th Century Fox's The Omen. And we're back on World of the Unexplained, and we have to tell you guys, we lied to you.
Liars.
we told you we were going to give you 2 hours with Marshall, but we can't because we don't want to divulge anything that's in that contract because, he can't talk about certain aspects of the film. He can't even tell us about it, which is unfortunate because we would really like to know.
But listen, maybe after the film.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
We'd love to have you back.
Yeah.
So,
that would be great.
Well, any final words, final thoughts other than see the film, see the film, see the film?
See the film, see the film, see the film. And when you look at Damien, try to imagine if who that person is going to be in 20 years.
Well,
Good point.
certainly.
Well, we thank you so much for coming on the show, Marshall.
Yep.
Okay, my pleasure.
And
Fantastic. It was
we'll definitely be there.
a pleasure to have you.
Oh, yes. And
Right.
we'll definitely
Well,
be there.
See the film.
And
Oh,
we
yeah,
will.
we will.
We will. All right.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was Marshall Cupp from
Yep.
The Omen.
There he is.
Yeah.
He was
well,
a great guy. You
Yeah,
know?
this works out well, though, because we got the hour with Josh, and now we have the hour of pre-record, so it's going to fit right into our normal time
It'll
slot.
fit in like
We can still
I
run.
don't know. I couldn't think of anything catchy there. Nobody remembers the first World of the Unexplained show, save 7 people. But, you
Yeah.
know,
We talked about
when we
hiding.
were talking about that sort of thing, I remembered how cool it would be to have Sean Manchester on the show. And
And he's coming on. David Ferrant's going to be on first, but we're doing a pre-record with Sean Manchester, and we're going to be airing it on June the 12th
yeah.
in David Icke's place. So we'll go ahead and play David Icke's stuff pretty soon, because he was a great guest, too.
Yeah, certainly. He had a lot of interesting things to say, and actually this show is going to be very interesting. We're just running the gambit, really.
That's true. And yeah, and we've actually got in our studio, not right now because we're pre-recording, but as you are listening to this, we are sitting here with our new producer. His name is Chuck Browder, and Chuck's coming on board. He's going to run all the stuff after all the construction's up. And so all we'll have to do, we won't have to run none of this stuff no more. It's going to be so great just to be able to sit back and talk. And Chuck's going to field your calls before they get to us, so we'll know your name, we'll know where you're calling from, and all that good stuff.
That's true. We're moving on up in the world, it seems. That big house apartment in the sky.
It's a deluxe apartment.
No, it was a big house apartment.
Deluxe apartment.
Oh, well. I've proven myself completely incompetent in the world of 70s TV shows. Anyway.
Well, we want to thank everyone for listening tonight, and we want to thank our new affiliates as well for carrying the show, and welcome them aboard.
Yeah.
Check out our website, worldoftheunexplained.com, and I guess that'll wrap it up. I'm Jay Scott, the only JD DJ on the Omni Sound Radio 1 network.
I'm Trent Lackey. We're coming to you from Kernersville, North Carolina, a small town where we talk about big things.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks a lot for listening tonight, guys, and have a good one.
Okay, see you later.